Hey folks, back with another video. Let's dive into what stories got my attention today. Starting with the Caucus region. Now, as the escalation continues between Armenia and Azerbaijan, despite the Russian brokered peace deal, the Nagorno Karabakh region defense ministry has said that the death toll in its region has crossed the 600. Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke by phone with his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan, emphasizing the need to respect the truce that was violated immediately after taking effect on Saturday. Putin also voiced concern about the involvement in the conflict by militants from the Middle East, a reference to Turkey deploying Syrian fighters to combat Armenian forces in Nagorno-Karabakh. Now, Azerbaijan's military has said it destroyed an Armenian missile system on the territory of Armenia that was positioned to target civilian areas. Armenia's defense ministry responded by stating that it reserves the right to target Azerbaijani military objects and troop movements. This is one of the examples that has come out of which of the peace treaty being, well, not really the peace treaty, but the peace deal, the sort of ceasefire was broken, and they have effectively confessed to this truce being basically violated. Anyhow, moving over to Thailand, where a state of emergency was declared by Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha at 4 a.m. local time. According to this emergency, this bans any gathering of 5 people or more, as well as any action that would incite unrest, and as a result, water trucks for riot control and many police vans were sent to disperse the demonstrators outside of the government house in the early hours of the day. Now, more than 20 protesters were arrested during the morning operation. They include key leaders such as Arnon Nampa, Parit Chiwarak, and Prasit Kuryu Tarote. Now, police later arrested another protest leader, Panusaya Siti Jarawa Tanakul, quite a long name, at a hotel on Khausan Road. Now, the protesters called for the release of their friends who were arrested, and anti-government protesters then later regrouped in Bangkok's business district of Ratchaprasong. Now, according to police spokesman Karisana Patanacharyon, the gathering at Ratchaprasong is considered a wrongdoing as it violates the emergency decree. Quote, "Whoever joins the demonstrations will be considered a wrongdoer," end quote, he said in a press conference on Thursday morning. Well, it seems that the Thai protesters will have to go through a tough time as the government has decided to use force and test the demonstrators' resolve. Hopefully, the government does not go too far in its crackdown against the protest. Well, moving on, in the continuing tit for tat that we have seen between the US and China, a new development has come forward. China's foreign ministry vowed on Thursday to enact its own countermeasures in response to the United States accusing a group of Hong Kong and mainland officials of undermining the city's autonomy with the adoption of a controversial national security law that was imposed this summer. Now, the U.S. State Department on Wednesday has named 10 Hong Kong and mainland officials including the chief executive Carrie Lam Negor, as quote, materially contributing to the Beijing's failure to meet its obligation under the joint declaration with the British government reached ahead of the city's handover in 1997 and under the Basic Law, which is the city's mini constitution. Quote, the Hong Kong issues are purely China's internal affairs and no country has the right to make unwarranted remarks and interfere with the matter, the Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian said during a press conference on Thursday, adding that China has lodged a formal protest with the US against the move. Quote, the US should correct its mistake and stop interfering with Hong Kong affairs and China's domestic politics. If the US insists on that, China will take resolute countermeasures to protect its sovereignty and national interests and to safeguard the legal rights and interests of Chinese companies and related personnel. End quote. Now, as we all know, the United States usually starts with imposing sanctions. And in the past, the United States usually imposes sanctions as a way to exert maximum pressure on government to dissuade them from engaging in nuclear proliferation or human rights violation, often by making everyday life difficult for political leaders and their family, and by extension, the people as well. Well, personally, I think that while targeted sanctions against individual, I'm not too concerned with. I think that we in the West should concentrate on exposing the Chinese Communist Party's rule, their mistakes, and work towards the Chinese people getting an apology from the Communist Party. Anyhow, moving on to Greece, where new developments have taken place. Greece has accused Turkey on Thursday of deliberately holding up a government aircraft carrying its foreign minister home from Iraq, leaving the plane circling for 20 minutes before granting it permission to cross the Turkish airspace. And of course, naturally, Turkey denied this on the grounds that and stated and by making a claim that the plane had left Iraq without a flight plan. However, Athens and Ankara have been locked in a diplomatic escalation over their Mediterranean maritime border. Separately, on Thursday, France and Germany accused Turkey of continuing to provoke the European Union with its action in the eastern Mediterranean, and it gave Turkey a week to clarify its position. Now, for some time, Erdogan has been pushing against the EU and the West in general as a way to divert attention from the failing Turkish economy, along with his failed foreign adventures in Syria, Libya. So far, it seems Erdogan is going to continue to push until he meets a strong opposition. And moving on to Kyrgyzstan. President Surunbay Jinbekov has resigned after a disputed parliamentary election triggered mass protests. Jinbekov said in an address to the nation, quote, I am not clinging to power, and also said, quote, I do not want to go down in the history of Kyrgyzstan as the president who shed blood and shot his own citizens, end quote. Yesterday, Sadir Japarov was approved as prime minister at the third time of asking since the crisis began. Now, I will not go too much into Sadir Japarov's character as of yet, as there are accusations flying about him, and he was the one who was in prison. He had been imprisoned in 2017 for crimes of, I believe, kidnapping. However, it now depends on whether Japarov can control the crowds and any opposition to him without bloodshed. If he can do that, then he will have really sealed the deal for himself. Well, that's it for this video. If you liked the video, then hit that like button and hit that subscribe button for future updates. Write in the comments your thought, criticism, and anything I might have missed. And I will see you in the next video.